Have you ever had a moment when the outer world seemed to echo your inner world? You think of someone you haven't seen in years, and they call the same day. You open a book at random, and the line you read seems written for your exact situation. We call these coincidences, but sometimes they feel too meaningful to be dismissed. They feel like messages, as though reality itself is speaking back to us. This mystery has fascinated cultures for millennia. In ancient China, sages developed one of the most sophisticated systems of divination in history, the I Ching, or Book of Changes. They cast yarrow stalks or coins, generating hexagrams, 6-line figures that were then interpreted as guidance for the present moment. The I Ching did not claim to predict the future mechanically. Instead, it revealed the pattern of the situation, the underlying order connecting the moment to the cosmos. Thousands of years later, the Swiss psychologist Carl Jung introduced a concept he called synchronicity, meaningful coincidence. He asked whether events might be connected not by cause and effect, but by meaning itself. Jung even used the I Ching personally, fascinated by how it mirrored his inner states. So today, we will investigate these two perspectives in depth. First, we'll journey into the Zhou dynasty and Confucian commentary tradition to see how the I Ching emerged as a map of cosmic change. Then we'll step into Jung's study, where the same text became a doorway into the mystery of synchronicity. Two traditions, one ancient and one modern, both suggesting the same thing: that fate may not be blind, but patterned. The question is, what does it mean to live as if the universe speaks through coincidence? Welcome to the Emerald Codex. If you want more deep investigations into ancient wisdom and hidden knowledge, subscribe. Thanks for supporting this work. The Emerald Codex method is not to reduce traditions to quick quotes or slogans, but to immerse in them. Here, the primary investigation is the I Ching, a text that has guided Chinese philosophy, politics, and daily life for nearly 3,000 years. We'll explore its historical context, its method of divination, and its enduring role as both oracle and philosophy of change. The complementary perspective will be Carl Jung's idea of synchronicity. Though he came from a very different culture, Jung found in the I Ching a practical demonstration of his theory, that events could be connected by meaning rather than linear causation. He saw synchronicity as a bridge between psyche and matter, a principle that revealed hidden order in the fabric of reality. We will not claim that the I Ching and Jung said the same thing, but by placing them side by side, we may recognize a universal human impulse to search for connection between the inner and the outer, between the mind's question and the world's answer. The I Ching, or Book of Changes, is one of the oldest surviving texts in the world, with roots reaching back to the early Zhou dynasty around 1000 BCE. It grew out of a culture that saw the cosmos as an interplay of forces: yin and yang, heaven and earth, change and constancy. Early kings used the text in statecraft, seeking guidance for military campaigns, agricultural timing, and political decisions. Over time, philosophers like Confucius and later commentators elevated it from a manual of divination into a profound philosophical work, a book about the nature of reality itself. It became not only a method for predicting outcomes, but a way of understanding how change unfolds. In this way, the I Ching is less about foretelling the future than about perceiving the present more clearly. The seed, of what is about to unfold. At its heart, the I Ching teaches that reality is not static but dynamic. Everything is in flux, moving through cycles of transformation. The 64 hexagrams, each made of 6 broken or unbroken lines, represent archetypal situations in the flow of change. A hexagram is not a prophecy. It is a mirror of the moment. When you cast the I Ching, you ask a question, toss coins, or count yarrow stalks, and generate a hexagram. The resulting figure is interpreted through ancient judgments, images, and line statements. These reveal the quality of the present, its tensions, potentials, and likely transformations. The key recognition is that the moment you ask is itself meaningful, and the hexagram that appears corresponds to it. This reflects a worldview in which the cosmos is responsive, not indifferent. Human life is not separate from heaven and earth, but woven into the same field of change. The I Ching thus insists that meaning is embedded in the world's patterns, available to those who know how to read them. The I Ching divination process traditionally used 50 yarrow stalks, manipulated in a precise ritual to generate hexagrams. Each step reflected cosmic order. The division of stalks into heaps represented heaven and earth. The counting and reduction of numbers reflected cycles of time. The process itself was meditation, aligning the diviner with the rhythm of change. Later, a simpler method using 3 coins became popular, tossed 6 times. The coins produced a hexagram line by line. Each unbroken line represented Yang, active and strong. Each broken line represented Yin, receptive and yielding. Lines could also be changing, suggesting movement toward another hexagram. Interpretation involved consulting the text, the judgment associated with the hexagram, its symbolic image, and commentary on individual lines. For example, hexagram 11, Tai, peace, describes heaven and earth joining in harmony, a time of prosperity. Hexagram 23, Ho, splitting apart, warns of decay and disintegration. Each hexagram is a snapshot of a dynamic situation, offering advice on how to act in harmony with the Tao, the way of the cosmos. The commentarial tradition expanded the text's meanings. The 10 wings, traditionally attributed to Confucius, interpreted the I Ching as a work of philosophy, linking it to ethics, governance, and the cultivation of virtue. Taoist commentators saw it as a map of cosmic energies. Across centuries, the I Ching was never static. It evolved as a living book, layered with wisdom. The I Ching was not confined to diviners. Emperors consulted it before wars. Farmers used it to plan crops. Scholars used it to reflect on the nature of time and morality. It became a text of statecraft, philosophy, medicine, and art. Its hexagrams shaped Chinese poetry, painting, and architecture. For Confucians, it taught ethical alignment with cosmic order. For Taoists, it revealed the flow of qi and the balance of yin and yang. For common people, it provided practical guidance in daily life. The I Ching thus permeated Chinese culture, bridging the sacred and the mundane. Today, the I Ching is still consulted, both in China and worldwide. Some use it as an oracle, others as a tool for meditation. Its language of change, balance, and transformation resonates even in modern contexts. In an age of uncertainty, it offers a reminder. Reality is not random, but patterned, and wisdom lies in aligning with that pattern. Carl Jung, working in the early 20th century, noticed that patients often reported coincidences that felt charged with meaning. A woman dreamed of a golden scarab. The next day, as she recounted it in therapy, a beetle resembling a scarab tapped at the window. For Jung, such events revealed a principle beyond causality: synchronicity, the meaningful coincidence. Jung described synchronicity as a causal connecting principle. Unlike cause and effect, it linked inner states with outer events through shared meaning. Consulting the I Ching became one of Jung's ways of exploring this principle. When he cast coins to generate a hexagram, he was struck by how often the results spoke directly to his inner condition. The text did not cause the event, nor did his psyche cause the coin toss. But together, they revealed an underlying connection. For Jung, this demonstrated that psyche and matter are not separate, but two aspects of the same reality. Synchronicity was a glimpse into the unity of mind and world, a break in the illusion of separateness. Placed beside the I Ching, Jung's synchronicity reveals a striking convergence. Both recognize that the moment of inquiry is meaningful. Both suggest that the outer world can mirror the inner state. For the I Ching, this is because reality is patterned. For Jung, because psyche and matter are connected through archetypes. In both cases, the coincidence is not random. It is revelatory. Today, synchronicity is part of psychological language and spiritual discourse alike. People speak of the universe sending signs, or of meaningful coincidence. Whether framed as cosmic order or depth psychology, the intuition is the same. Events can align in ways that reveal meaning, not just mechanism. The dialogue between the I Ching and Jung suggests a universal recognition. Human beings sense that the world is not mute. It speaks, if we know how to listen. Modern physics has touched similar mysteries. Quantum entanglement shows particles connected across distance without causal exchange. Complexity science reveals emergent patterns in chaotic systems. While these are not the same as Jung's synchronicity, they remind us that hidden orders exist beyond linear causality. For individuals, synchronicity often arises in moments of transition. A chance meeting, a book falling open, an omen-like event that feels charged with significance. The I Ching formalizes this process, offering a structured way to enter dialogue with the pattern. Jung systematized it as psychology. But the underlying intuition is ancient. Meaning links worlds together. So as we close this investigation, consider these questions. Is fate structured, as the I Ching suggests, unfolding in patterned cycles? Are synchronicities merely projections of our minds, or glimpses into hidden order? Do we create meaning, or does meaning create us? What changes in your life when you begin to treat coincidences not as accidents, but as messages? Perhaps the point is not to decide once and for all, but to notice, to pay attention when the outer world echoes the inner, to see the pattern, to listen for the message, to live as if the cosmos itself participates in our questions. This is the path of the wisdom explorer. This is the Emerald Codex. The investigation continues. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more.